Cool. I really liked how you went about the approach of like finding ideas for the album with the whole recording conversations on the phone thing.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you're an author researching a book. You know, how did you actually go about it, and what sort of surprising things did you talk to people about?
So many things. So many things. Yeah, I guess I don't know why I started doing it. Just I have a really bad memory, and I really want to remember. We're meeting all these people, and they're sharing all these stories, and I want to remember them. So yeah, secretly on my phone, just hit record, and yeah, then you kind of listen back to them all at once, and you start to realize like what people talk about, the way they tell stories. You know, where they might have exaggerated, where they might have left some stuff out, what that might be, what that means about them as a person, and you can kind of dig deeper and look into, you know, the person behind the story and stuff. I thought that was all really interesting. But that, yeah, just crazy stories. Some so heartbreaking, really, really sad, and some just so like, yeah, just make you smile and feel amazing about life, and some make you go like, oh, that's disgusting. I don't know. Should we tell some?
Maybe tell me the one that inspired the single, the one that inspired Youth.
Inspired Youth. Oh yeah, that was so. Yeah, that one was actually kind of inspired by a single story. Was the others were more really quite made up, just taking a bit from, you know, what I learned about how people tell stories. But yeah, that someone told me this story about their son once, very young son, and it was really, yeah, it was really sad. Something had happened to their son, and they were tearing up while they were telling me the story, and at the same time they had this memory of their son that made her so happy. Like she was smiling and crying at the same time, and telling the story and like laughing about things, but still telling like the saddest, most heart-crushing story I'd ever heard. And that combination of emotions was so weird. I found myself like wanting to cry, but also wanting to laugh, and also feeling kind of optimistic about life, and having all of that at the same time was just really strange. And I didn't know how to process it, so I tried to put it into a song, and that's it's kind of what that song is, I guess. Happiness on the outside and something darker inside.
It's very touching, the song. So the other songs in the album, you said that it's more of like a mixture of the way people tell stories. What do you mean by that? What did you learn about?
I guess, I mean, we're kind of just hinting at some of it. You know, one of the things is people often can tell you very dark things, very sad things, very strange and shocking things, with a smile on their face a lot of the time, because it's a kind of light-hearted conversation between people, but really what they're saying actually tells you a lot about them, and it's not often nice, or it's not often, you know, a happy thing. It's weird, yeah. So on the surface can be just a little kind of happy story, or a happy little tale and a happy facial expression, but then underneath that is often something a lot darker. So that's one of the things I guess you start to learn about when listening back to those stories.
And why is it, do you think, they opened up to you so much?
I mean,
lots of reasons.
I think people talk to strangers in a way that you might not talk to your friends or family. I think when you're speaking to someone, you might never see them again. You're willing to tell them things that otherwise you might not be willing to speak to, to your friends about. So I think that, like, in these kind of passing moments, you can, if you ask enough questions or you listen, you can find out really interesting things for that reason.
Also, who knows if it's true? Then maybe that's.
I mean, I know for a fact that one of the stories that we were told was like, well, not for a fact, but I'm convinced that the guy was a compulsive liar.
Yeah, sometimes people just.
But that doesn't make the story
tell
any
you
less
something
interesting. In fact, it's kind of more interesting.
In a way.
But I think it has something to do with that kind of fleeting moment. You can kind of capture these things that you might otherwise not have found out. It's really cool. There's so much, like, people have amazing things to say if you listen.
I was about to ask you actually whether, until you said that, whether if you've changed things around or sort of created fictional characters just inspired by them, whether any of the people that unloaded to you maybe would recognise what they talked about to you in one of your songs, or have you changed it so much that actually not really? Or
I'm not sure. I think the stories have been changed a lot, but you know, hopefully they're now. You have to leave a certain element of. You have to make them vague enough. The stories that people can still hopefully see themselves, or see someone that they know in all of those characters. And I think that's part like a really good. Good book or a really good TV series. The characters are just vague enough for you to be able to identify with them somehow on a personal level. So maybe they can still do it. I don't know. Yeah, but there's also a lot of autobiography in there. It's a lot like some of the songs are 100% autobiographical, and it's just somewhere between autobiography and made up and everything in between.
Now the video, it's a continuation, isn't it, from the video that you did for Life itself?
Yeah.
Is that going to carry on? How many of them are you going to do?
I think we might take a break from that series next. Yeah, basically all the characters, each song is a different character, and all of the characters we cast as actors, and those actors are what you see on the cover of the artwork, and inside their kind of individual portraits. We built a room for each of them, and we kind of imagined their house or where they worked and built those spaces, and then photographed them in there. That's what's inside, and so I guess all the videos are sort of pulling on that. So it depends what the single is and who the character is, and then you'll find out more about that character in the video.
So the videos are also like somebody else's interpretation of the character in the song. I think it's not like it's not like a kind of direct.
It's not the correct interpretation.
No, it's an interpretation of it, which I think makes it much more interesting. Someone's taken the lyrics, has taken all of the visual stuff that Dave created and the music and interpreted them. And it was this guy called Neil Krug, who's really cool, really smart guy, and he kind of created this story with these people, and that's what you see. And I guess we'll try and find people who can imagine other songs in other ways, and if that's the right place to go back to at some point, then we probably will.
So once the director gets going, do you then, like a writer, like a screenwriter and a film director, you take a step back and say, it's your baby now, and even though you have imagined the way your character looks and so on, you just...
But I mean, he came to us quite a lot and said, how about this, or like, I was thinking about doing this and this, and then we'd be able to say to him, yeah, that's really cool, maybe not this thing, and he'd go away again and kind of work on it. So I mean, it kind of was collaborative in a lot of senses, but it was absolutely his take on it, which was really interesting to watch, because we were there while they were filming it, and it was fascinating to watch. I mean, the whole process was really interesting, but the story that he created in his head was really interesting too.
And how was the little boy on set?
Very, very cool.
He's awesome.
A very cool kid.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
He's going to be a star one day, I think.
He already is a star.
He already is a star. He's got some serious moves. Cool dude. He likes trains. Showed a lot of trains to us. So many trains.
How old was he when you
He just turned 5.
5?
What? Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He's small. He's about this big.
Really sweet. Yeah, we did like a video casting for a lot of the characters, and his was so cool. He turned up in a Hulk costume with Hulk hands.
There were like five kids in a row. They'd like film each one.
It was like probably
and they
the
did
most
him for
adorable
like
thing.
2 minutes, and then they were like, "Okay, it's time to move on." He just would not stop talking, and the next girl next to him started talking. He was just like screaming over the top of her, like barging into the shot. And we were like, "That's the kid.
That's the one.
Perfect."
That's the way to get on.
Yeah, completely hijacked the whole thing.
Yeah. So you did the basic putting together of the ideas for the album in a week and a half at Christmas time. This seems very fast. You must have very understanding families as well if you're doing it at Christmas.
Yeah, I did go home for a couple of days, see my mum, my brother, but there were just so many ideas coming out. I didn't want to leave anything behind. I didn't want to a lot of people struggle with ideas for the second record, any record for that matter, and I thought, who knows if I'm going to wake up the next day and not have any ideas. I didn't want to waste time, so just as they were coming, threw them down.
I get the sort of sense that that's how you operate anyway, with thinking ahead to the next thing each time, all the time, and being quite high energy, or is that just my interpretation?
I don't know.
Wrong?
Maybe you have to ask Joe.
Do you think you're quite high energy as a band?
I don't know. I feel quite lethargic most of the time. But yeah, I think in terms of like this, for this specific thing, we had this very strong idea, as a kind of a plan going into the whole process, and that made the process much, I wouldn't say easier, because I wouldn't have said it was easy, but it was like
more fluid and quicker.
And it kind of
you have an end goal in mind.
Yeah, and it was spontaneous because we had these ideas, and then stuff was happening, and we'd grab it and run with it, and that having something in the distance to aim at made the whole process much more efficient, I think, and fun and exciting. And it was very fast. It felt very fast, but I think that in itself kind of fed into that whole thing. And so Dave disappeared and wrote the beginnings of all of these songs, and all of these characters were kind of spewing out of him what they all wore, what their favourite shoes were, what they ate for breakfast, were they married, what colour bed sheets they have, all of that stuff, everything, like minute detail. And as that was happening, I think it kind of fed into itself, into this loop. So yeah, I think maybe we can get quite manic sometimes, but I wouldn't say we're like madly energetic people. We're fairly chilled out, but when we have something to get our teeth stuck into, it kind of gets done.
So was it a very different approach to like the who does what when in terms of writing the album, and also the sound? Was that different to the debut album?
It was pretty. I mean, the debut album started a lot with beats and electronics, and so we'd make some beats and then we'd work on the beats, and then I'd do a vocal line over the top. This time it was totally the opposite. It all started with the idea first for everything, and that idea stemmed with the lyrics first, and the kind of ideas of these characters. When you know who they are and what they're like, it's very easy to write certain types of chords that feel like it fits them, and then certain sounds that feel like it's like writing a theme tune almost. James Bond is kind of sneaky, like smooth character, and it fits perfectly. So it's kind of like doing that. Yeah.
And with the tour, are you? I read that with the last one, you were sort of changing things up a little bit with the tracks. You might play them in a different way on the night, the heavier version, for example. Are you still doing that? Are you still, freshening up as you go?
Definitely, yeah. I think it's quite boring to just play the record live as it is on record. You might as well just listen to the record at home and probably sound better.
It's hard on yourself, dude.
Recorded, isn't it? It's recorded in the studio. It's going to sound really nice and great. And yeah, there are only 4 of us live. In the studio, we can overdub as many times. Just like I can sing the vocal 5 times and stack up top of each other. But we can only do so much as 4 people on stage without no backing tracks and stuff. So we have to change the arrangements and change the structures, change the instrumentation a little bit, but it's hopefully not too different, but it's definitely a little bit of a rework.
I think the key
is it something that you decide, alright, we're going to plan to do, this is going to be the stage set, and we're going to change it like this, and then that's it for the tour? Or do you actually, as you're seeing an audience's reaction, do you change things a bit as we're playing?
Yeah,
definitely changes a bit. Yeah, we just did a festival last weekend. It was very mellow. Like a Sunday afternoon, kind of 6:30 p.m. slot. Everyone just eating dinner. Everyone was chill. So we play everything a bit more ambient, a bit more chill, a bit more slowed down. And we did a festival the week before that. That was just people wanted to dance in in Canada, and so we turn everything up to 11, turn the drums up, turn the bass up, play everything faster, extend the groove sections. Yeah, can change it every night.
So who's making that decision? Are you kind of all looking at each other for cues, and someone gives a little signal and it takes a different direction?
Joe stops when he wants.
I mean, the way we do it means that we have to communicate with each other and interact with each other and engage with each other. I think it's probably, we've never played with backing tracks and stuff, but I imagine if you do, you can kind of just disappear off into your own head and cruise, whereas we have to be paying attention to each other, which I think in turn means that the crowd can see people who are engaged, which engages me as an audience member. When I see a band who are kind of thinking and communicating, it definitely kind of, it's like a relationship, live music, crowd and the performer. So I think that kind of helps the whole thing, and it also makes it different every day, which makes our lives much more interesting. And again, that probably makes the crowd's life a bit more interesting. And no two shows we play can ever be the same as well, which is cool.
You must be quite in tune off stage as well as a foursome if you're able to do that. So does that make a long tour like the one you're doing now a little bit easier when you sort of roll along quite happily?
Yeah, I mean we've known each other since we were small, 12 or something. So I can sit in a room with Dave and not talk for 5 hours and not even think about it. But equally, we could sit down and have like a kind of ravenous conversation, and it's fine. Like we know each other well enough to be able to sort of, I know when to give everyone space and vice versa.
It's like family.
Yeah, it's like having brothers, really. That's kind of the vibe. But I think the communication on stage is probably an extension of that rather than the other way around. It's easier for Dave to turn around and scream at me that everything's not fast enough, and for me to be like, I'll make it faster for you, or whatever. I can turn around to Ed and be like, what the hell are you doing on stage? But that doesn't extend to anything other than that. And I don't know what it would be like to do that with people who you didn't know very well.
So have you all known each other since you were 12 or 4 of you?
Yeah, all of us, yeah.
Were you at school together?
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it does make life easy, probably, but also, I know all of the buttons. I know where they all live, so if I'm bored and Dave's cruising around, I can just push one and it'll explode, and that's fun. So it kind of works in both ways, I guess.
I did read that you were either, it was a little bit conflicting, but that you were either at medical school or about to go to medical school. Which was it when the band formed?
It was at it.
At
made it.
School. How far did you get? Can you actually remember much of your course?
What's
I'm just thinking if there's a medical emergency on the school.
I wouldn't trust me to operate on you if that's.
I trust Dave to operate on me.
Would you?
Yeah, you kind of saved my finger the other day.
Did I?
Yeah, when I sliced it
open.
Yeah,
you did.
What happened?
I was really drunk and I was cutting a bag of potatoes open and I just sliced my finger and there was blood everywhere, and Dave was like, don't worry Joe, hold it above your head and I'll wrap this thing around it and give you some more alcohol. So I was fine.
That is the solution for everything, isn't it?
Rescue remedy.
I think I've forgotten a lot of it. I wouldn't ever tell anyone I know exactly what to do in any situation, but
you've got a better idea than me.
I'm happy to try to help.
Handy on a tour bus though, just in case.
It's handy on a tour bus. Yeah, I carry around a big box of medicine that I've been given by friends and things. So if anything happens to anyone,
Dave's the go-to guy.
Yeah. What's in it?
Everything you could ever imagine.
Anything, yeah.
All things.
So there's people come up to me like, Joe.
Headaches, sore tummies,
rash,
broken feet.
Got a rash, fix it. Tonsillitis, I'm on it.
Antibiotics.
Anything.
Dr. Dave. Yeah.
Even if you've broken your arm, I think I'd have a crack, but
crack it back into place.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's very handy. So we were saying that the tour is quite a long tour. Do you thrive on that, or do you kind of think about, right, the first thing I'm going to do when I get home is X, Y, Z?
It depends how much fun I'm having on the day. Sometimes I'm like, this is great, I don't want to be anywhere else. And other days I'm like, I just want to go to bed. And I don't know, it's kind of like being on holiday. It's really weird, it doesn't feel
very
like work.
intense holiday.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely days where I need to escape, and I'm sure everybody feels the same, but there are other days where it's just so fun and so exciting that it makes all the days where you want to escape worth it. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I think the thing about it that's probably different from, like, everyday life is that it's just, like, the highs are really high. Like, when you perform in front of thousands of people and it goes really well, and the sun's out and you're near a beach in California or whatever it happens to be, that's pretty cool. But then the opposite of that, when everything goes terribly wrong in front of thousands of people and you get shouted at and you're miles away from anyone who you wanted to see, that can be really bad too. But they kind of do balance each other out in the middle, and it's exciting. Every day is nuts, which is really cool.
What is the first thing you do when you get home after a long tour?
Marmite.
No.
It is.
You eat Marmite?
Yeah, I
Of
do.
all the things you could do at home.
Yeah, the first thing, walk in the door,
Really?
bag down, Marmite,
Really?
on toast,
Wow.
done. Shower, maybe.
That's pretty cool. I probably called Joe.
That is actually what happens quite a lot.
Yeah,
Bored, do you want to go for a drink? Yeah, right.
It's really okay. As soon as you get back, it's really weird. Because you're going at 100 miles an hour on tour. Everything is. Your social life is freaking crazy. Your brain's working at a million miles an hour, and you get home and all of a sudden it's quiet. There aren't 15 people around all the time.
I'm not around.
You're not around. Joe's not around.
It's really
you
sad.
actually like sit. You wake up in the morning. You think like, what? I really feel like I should be doing something right now. It's really hard. You have to readjust. Almost learn to slow down a bit. You can't keep living at 100 miles an hour when you come back. It scares people.
But it's not been that long ago since, before the debut album. So are you kind of getting used to it now, the kind of the speed of life and the changes and just being out there?
Yeah, I love it. I don't know. I haven't been able to. So I think probably before touring started, I was probably able to sit back and relax a bit more and just chill. But now I get annoyed if there's not something going on.
Dave's not very chill.
Not
anymore.
very chill anymore. No, I like doing things. Yeah, I can't stop doing things.
I like not doing things a lot.
Yeah.
That's why we're friends.
That's why it works out all right.
Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah.
So you are high energy. You can't sit still.
I don't know. You have to ask Joe that. I don't know. I don't like sitting still. Maybe. I don't know. I like
I'm
doing
not,
things.
so I don't know.
Like projects.
Yin and yang.
Yeah. It's alright. Everyone might want to take a holiday one day.
We did.
We did take a holiday.
And we
It was
almost
not
died.
a real holiday.
It was not a
Oh my
holiday.
god! I got arrested very briefly.
I
And
almost died about 4 times.
We almost died. Yeah.
And we drove everywhere. It was like being on tour,
It was
except
like
much
being on
more
tour.
dangerous.
I think this is
And we
a
were with each
musician.
other. Yeah, it was it was not a holiday.
How did you nearly die? Just out of
Oh,
interest?
just so many ways. We almost drove off a mountain. We got stuck in a sort of civil conflict.
Some
We are-
bandits.
Car broke down in the middle of a desert and we had to hitchhike. This is a true story. We had to hitchhike across Mexico
For about
with this
9
old, like
hours
two
we
old
drove.
farmers in a sort of battered van playing mariachi music really loudly.
It had no seats left in
It's
it,
very
so we were
unnerving.
sitting on
Bread
little
everywhere.
metal stools, and then there was just a sea of bread.
They weren't metal stools, they were what are those things called? Sun things.
Sun lounges.
Lounges. Yeah.
Yeah,
Deck
just
chairs.
Deck
that's
chairs.
what they
There
were.
had some deck chairs in the
Yeah.
back.
So are you
Um,
already thinking about ideas for album number 3?
Mariachi deck chair inspired record. Yeah, concept album about the
Hitchhiker
time
Blues.
the hitchhiking excursion.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. No, this one has to come out first.
Yeah, one baby steps.
And just
Yeah.
one final question, just about the feel of the album as opposed to the previous one, because I read just that you felt it was just a bit grittier and a bit more raw. So, is that the case?
It's
Yeah.
for you to decide. I don't know.
That's
It
what
definitely
people say.
sounds a bit more spontaneous and more full of energy. I think the last one was a bit more.
Calculated,
yeah,
maybe is
we
the
just-
word. Bit
We've
shy
never
as
done
well.
it before. I mean, we've only done it once now, but we just made very sure that nothing was wrong last time. We spent a very long time polishing things and making them sound as good as we could, and I think this time, having played so much live music, we weren't so terrified of that because
start
that's
to appreciate
life.
the mistakes. I think, and there are lots of recordings on this record where, last time around we would have gone and replayed it, played it perfectly through a nice amplifier, nice microphone, and just played the guitar line perfectly. But this time we kind of fell in love with a lot of the quirks that the first demo dud scratch recording had. So it was played through like a laptop mic, but it has a zingy magic to it that you can never recreate in a shiny studio. So yeah, there's a lot of that, a lot of little first versions on this record, a lot of raw sounds, and the ideas were coming out so quickly. We were like I was just running around setting up sounds as quickly as I could. Sometimes it means you can't capture the sound perfectly, but you've still captured that spontaneous thing when you first have an idea and there's like a little tingle. That's on there, and that's much more important in a lot of cases.
And just finally, could I get you to do an ident? Or a program called Entertainment Now. So if you say your names and then random watching Entertainment Now.
Cool.
To camera.
Hey, this
Hi.
is Dave.
I'm Joe.
Joe. We're from Glass Animals, and you're watching Entertainment Now.
Perfect.
Do
Thank
you
you very
want to
much.
do a second take of that just for safety?
If you like,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can do that. You start this one. Do it backwards.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Joe.
I'm Dave.
We're in Glass Animals, and you're watching Entertainment Now. That was probably not as good as yours, Dave.
That was great.
Do you want to do a third for luck?
Third for luck. We can do a third for luck. Oh, let's make this one a bit different. What's up?
Hey.
No, we're not going to do that. Hey,
I was
this is
ready
Dave.
for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey,
Hi.
this is Dave and
I'm
Joe
Joe. Yeah.
from Glass
Stop
Animals.
introducing
Sorry,
me.
I like introducing.
Okay,
you.
fine. I'll just be
Oh.
mute.
No,
Go.
don't be mute.
Go. It's fine.
Oh, this is the take, right here. And you're watching
Entertainment Now.
Entertainment Now.
That was it. That's the one. Keeper.
We got one.
Keeper. It's been a long day. It's been a very long